I think that content marketing world is explosive.
It's even better than I could have hoped.
It's been insightful, impactful, remarkable.
It's a big conference, but it feels intimate at the same time.
It's incredible. The quality and the scale are huge.
This is inspirational as well as very tactical.
There's so many speakers and so many sessions, it's hard to pick which one to go to next.
Every single thing on the agenda was something that I said, that's something I want to know more about.
When you come here, you get to learn from day-to-day practitioners that are in the weeds, that are doing the hard work.
I've enjoyed all of the speakers. They've all been very enthusiastic, passionate about what they're talking about.
It's awesome to have a variety of industries represented, everything from healthcare to higher education to the financial industry.
Every topic you hear, every speaker you hear from, every person you meet has value.
The vibe and the atmosphere here, it's really conducive to growing and learning and sharing.
Everyone is so warm and friendly, in addition to brilliant.
It's a really vibrant community of people that take what they do very seriously, but have a lot of fun doing it.
Content marketing world has a very distinct and unique culture, which for me is the biggest draw.
It's a lot of fun. You build lifelong friendships. Every year, it's like coming home and coming back to family.
The human-to-human interaction and the community feel that exists at content marketing world is second to none.
There really is something for everyone.
Next year, let's bring the whole team, because I feel like everyone from my VP to the specialists and the coordinators could get something out of this.
I was jotting down ideas and notes of things that I can take back and immediately start implementing.
Content Marketing World is the can't-miss marketing event of the year.
I mean, it's like a kid in a candy store, so.
It is an insane group of people. You need to get here.
Join us for Content Marketing World 2024 in San Diego.
Hello, everyone. This is Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. I'm so happy that you are joining us this afternoon for our latest episode of Live with CMI. I'm so excited, as always, to be joined by my friend and colleague, JK. JK, we had postponed this for a month, but I think this live stream is going to be worth it. What do you think?
I think it's definitely going to be worth it. I hope you survived, all of you out there survived this lovely heat wave we just had. I'm sitting with my air conditioner set to deep freeze. So, if I start getting a little glistening during this thing, it's not just because how hot it is, it's the topic that's bringing it up. So I think this is going to be a great one.
I do not have my air conditioning on for some reason. So I might be actually firing a little bit here with all the lights on here. But we do have quite a lineup for you today. The search and marketing world has been abuzz this month with Rand Fishkin's leak of Google Search API. So we will be chatting with him about that today. We will also be talking about measurement. It's harder than ever for marketers to measure their success with all the new AI, changes in cookies, search, social media. So we are excited to welcome Rand today, but that is not all we have, right, JK?
Oh, that's right. We really have a great, the one thing I'm really excited to talk about as well is we have this great marketing hit that was brought to us by the amazing folks at the Myrtle Beach Tourism Board. It's all about a new show called Traveling the Spectrum, and it's all about families and with children and family members on the spectrum and the challenges they face while finding destinations to travel to. It's a great marketing lesson all about passion projects, and it's a really, really great interview, and you got to stick around for it. It's going to be great.
Yes, we are very excited about that. Before we get to all that, we want you to know this live stream, in case you didn't know, is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. We're the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content marketing. So you can head over to contentmarketinginstitute.com for all kinds of great resources. And in case you missed it, we are super excited about this. We just announced our keynote speaker for Content Marketing World. Issa Rae will be joining us. We are so excited about that. We will be in San San Diego this October. So we hope you'll be joining us. We also just released the agenda, so you can check out what kind of speakers, what kind of sessions we will be having. Head over to contentmarketingworld.com. And if you use the code LIVE100, you get save a little extra from JK and I there on your registration. So as always, back to today's live stream. If you were joining us, be sure to give us a virtual wave, say hello, let us know where you're joining us from. It always makes for a more engaging live stream when we hear from all of you. So drop your questions. I'm sure some of you have questions for Rand or comments as we go along here today. JK, kick it off. What's our question of the day?
All right, well, let's get the ball rolling here. Year after year, our annual research shows that measurement is a top challenge for all marketers. So we all know you have questions. What is or are your most pressing issues when it comes to measurement? And, there's a lot out there, a lot to be confused, and a lot that frustrates all of us. So let us know in the comments, or pop in and shoot a question to Rand. What's kind of driving you batty with measurement?
All right, I see people checking in already. Michelle Garrett, a good friend of ours here, who said that month went fast. Yes, it did actually go quite quickly. I see Kim, Lisa joining us. Someone, I can't see your name. You're joining us from South Africa. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. Michelle's in Columbus. Hello.
Hey, Michelle.
Michelle. So yes, JK, you were right when you were talking about measurement. With all the new disruptions in AI, SEO, and social, can we really measure our marketing anymore? That's what I want to know. I know a lot of you want to know that too. So lucky for us today, we have the one and only Rand Fishkin, co-founder of SparkToro, to chat with us. And it may be harder to measure, Rand, but it's not impossible. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure, Amanda and JK. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So a lot has happened in the last month here. First of all, we have to ask you about this Google API search leak here. So if you've been living under a rock out there, you may have missed the fact that a source shared thousands of leaked Google search API docs with Rand, who in turn released them to the public. So lots of discussion around this, Rand. Obviously a big deal, specifically for those in SEO. But if I'm a marketer or a content marketer and I'm not really techie or in that space, like what changes should I be making based on what SEOs have learned from studying all these documents?
Oh man, do you have 22 hours?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we could possibly get through it in anything less than that. I mean, so I'll say, for folks who might not know my history, before I started SparkToro, I started a company called Moz, which was in the SEO space. Mm-hmm. I spoke and keynoted at a few of the content marketing worlds, sort of back in the early years of that business. And my history was all SEO prior to 2018, right? Today, I'm more in audience research and content strategy and measurement and all those kinds of things. But for all the years that I was in SEO, this was the absolute dream, right? We're talking about 14,014 attributes that Google search engineers can call when they are making changes to how the ranking function and the indexing function works in Google search. And so, Google, as we know, drives about 70% of all internet traffic, right? So if you are someone who produces content with the goal of getting direct traffic to it, well, Google is about 70% of that worldwide and on average. In which case, you have to care about SEO, which is a little bit frustrating because SEO is a challenging topic. But this leak tells us all the things Google uses. It also tells us all the things Google doesn't use. I'll give you the tiniest little example, Amanda. I was on the SEO subreddit last night, and I almost never participate there because the community can be a little bit toxic. But I saw someone saying, hey, I am thinking about changing my CMS, my content management system, because the content management system I'm using doesn't support H2 and H3 and H4 tags. And I've heard that that's really important for SEO. So I thought to myself, I wonder I wonder if Google cares about that. So I went to the leak, right? And I searched, it's hosted on HexDocs. You can find the link in the SparkToro blog post. So I go to the leak and I look and I try and see, like, does Google say anything? Is there any call that looks at, does a word or content or an entity mention or a link or whatever appear in an H2 or H3 tag? And I was like, good news for this person who's asking. I don't think you have to care about that from an SEO perspective. I'm sure you've heard that you had to care about it. Probably in my Moz days, I bet I even filmed a video that said you had to care about it. Turns out you don't. I don't know, maybe Google used to use it in the past and it became unimportant. Maybe they never used it and it was just a myth. That's the kind of thing the leak can validate for people, right? Does this thing matter? Do I have to care about it? It won't tell you how much. It'll only tell you whether it's in there. But I think this leak is kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, right? You would have loved that, like you said years ago.
Oh my God.
You just saved somebody a whole ton of headache right there with a huge CMS change by just typing in and looking up and see if that even mattered, right?
Exactly. Well, and JK, like, think of the millions of conversations that happen every day around the world on topics related to, hey, should we do this thing because I think Google cares about it? And now you can say Google does care about that, or Google doesn't care about that.
Right.
And we're talking about thousands, literally 14,000 features across 2,600 documents. So can I get into every single one of them? No, but I'm happy to list off a few of my most fascinating things that I found. If we want to get into that, we can.
It's awesome.
We will probably in a sec, but go along here. But obviously, like we said, ranking high on Google is important, right? But when it comes to measurement, so we're talking to Rand here about measurement. If you have pressing measurement issues or questions for Rand, please feel free to drop it in the comments. But it's hard for us to show that our marketing tactics are actually working. So you say the old way of what you call attribution isn't working, and you believe in measurement for the future of marketing. So can you you talk about this a lot, but kind of walk us through this idea of measurement versus attribution and why we should consider changing our tactics?
Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna go a tiny bit of like history story. So think back to 1980, right? And you go to an ad agency and you say, hey, I want to we're Coca-Cola. We want to run a new campaign in Ohio that we want to drive same-store sales of, new Coke or whatever it is. And so the ad agency says, all right, well, we're going to run an outdoor campaign, a radio campaign. We're going to run television commercials. We're going to run sponsorships. We're going to do some partnerships. We'll do some guerrilla marketing. We're going to do some sports sponsorships, all this kind of stuff. They will never be able, the ad agency would never promise this, and no marketer or CFO or CEO would ever expect that they would provide attribution. They wouldn't say, aha, because Rand saw that billboard when he was driving in Cleveland, that billboard caused him to buy one 12-pack of Coca-Cola that he would not have otherwise bought. Would never happen. But starting in about 2005, 2006, marketers in the digital world were trying to convince their bosses and teams and clients to invest in digital marketing, SEO, PPC, display ads, retargeting, social media a few years later, right? All that kind of stuff, content marketing. And the pitch was, and this, I fully blame myself for this. The pitch was, you can perfectly measure every buyer's entire journey from start to finish. And we can tell you that they had these 12 touch points. They saw this video, then they watched this YouTube pre-roll ad, then they came to this piece of content on our website, and then 3 months later, they signed up for our email newsletter, and after they got this email newsletter, they saw this other ad, and then they purchased from us. These are all the touch points. We're going to attribute, 1/6 to each of these things and 1/12 to each of these things. There you go. That's attribution. Well, what happened? Over the last 5 years, the death of third-party cookies, right, in Apple's ecosystem obviously caused a ton of loss there. Privacy policy in California, in Canada, in the EU, in parts of Asia, decimated our ability to track. And ad blockers have become so popular. Almost a third of all internet users uses an ad blocker. It's higher than that in Europe. It's close to 50%. In the United States, I think it hovers around 28 to 35%, depending on who. Those ad blockers don't just block ads, they block all sorts of tracking, incognito browsing, multi-device journeys. A multi-device journey means that you cannot connect these points of data. And every single ad tech provider and marketing measurement provider says, we have the secret formula. Using our proprietary technology, you can tie together all these things. And you know what? I don't believe one of them. I don't believe it for a second. I think it's possible to build attribution models, sophisticated attribution models for large-scale advertising, large-scale digital advertising. If digital ads are all you're doing and all you want to attribute. Every other channel, word of mouth, forget about it. Slack, no way. B2B, not going to happen. Almost all of the marketing that takes place on social media, you cannot tell whether someone consumed a video or saw a particular post and then came to a piece of content. No way. So attribution fully broken these days, but we're still using it like we used to and not thinking about things the way Coca-Cola and the ad agency thought about it in 1980. That's measurement. That's saying we're going to put up a billboard in Cleveland. We're going to put up a different billboard in Cincinnati, and we're going to see if same-store sales in a 5-mile radius lift more from one or the other. Oh, the Cleveland one worked better. We're going to run that statewide. That's measurement.
Yes, and it's like, and putting that in context of like a digital, like I was thinking when I'm on Instagram, you kind of talk, when I'm on Instagram and I see an influencer that I follow mention something, a brand or something that they do, I'll like either take a screenshot of it, I'll bookmark it, but I'm not like interrupting my scrolling at that point to go search for it. When I want to go, oh, hey, remember those shoes I saw? And then I'll go to my laptop or I'll go to my phone, see what it was, type it in on my laptop, and then do the research. So it's like thinking
and
about.
Even if you did, even if, Amanda, you were to go directly to Google and search for exactly that thing right then, there's no tie in. The attribution from the marketing side would go to Google, which would be misattribution, right? Like that would be completely false, and that would throw off your marketing. I think this is exactly how Google and Facebook get a ton of the money and investment that they get. They basically say, we know exactly where people are going to go before they purchase. Let's just make sure to run ads in those places before that purchase happens, and then we get credit for the sale. It's a pretty sweet business model if you think about it, but it's not exactly honest.
Right. Yes, that's what you say. Like people are Google is taking credit or Facebook's taking credit for what you were already going to do, right? You were already going to go there, and they're taking credit, right?
Look, Amanda, we're all busy, lazy people. Why would you why would you work hard to make more sales when you could just take credit for sales that were already going to happen? That's Facebook's motto. That's Google's motto, right? Like in the ad room when they're pounded, they're like, stop trying to work hard to make more sales. Start working hard to take credit for sales that were already going to happen. That's how they make more money.
Yeah, as I say, that's how they make the money. So, awesome. What do you see as like a viable replacement for those attribution models? You know, you can see on Google, on LinkedIn. Is there like a middle ground between measurement, attribution? Like, what
I mean, I think that you've got a couple of options here, right? One of the things every marketer has to do, this is on us. This is our job. We have to have this difficult conversation with our CFO and VP of marketing and our CEO, like the board and leadership teams of the companies we work for, or our clients, if we're at an agency, they have to buy into this new method of operating. They have to understand how, when you provide attribution, you are going to miss almost every organic channel, every word of mouth channel, almost every social engagement channel that's organic, almost every channel that doesn't directly drive a link that passes a referral string. And for reference, if you're thinking to yourself, well, lots of things pass a referral string. No, my friends, go look at the research around dark social. We published it last year. Dark social is responsible for a huge amount of social media traffic. LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, Slack, Mastodon, Threads, TikTok. All TikTok traffic is dark social, meaning no referrer string is passed. So if someone clicks on your profile on TikTok and then clicks on your link and comes to your website, you will see big fat nothing. You will see it attributed as direct or type in your analytics because it passes no referral string. And that conversation has to be had before you can make any productive anything on measurement. So that's step one. Step two is really about saying, what are we going to invest in because we believe our audience is here and paying attention? That is going to be hard to attribute, but possible to measure. And measurement is different than attribution. Measurement is saying, we're going to put a bunch of effort into running a live stream on LinkedIn with our audience because we believe that we're there. We're going to look at how many people we get to that over time. And we're going to look at the lift that we see from that in terms of, brand strength and recognition and, sales of tickets to Content Marketing World, whatever your metrics are, you're going to look at lift, not attribution. That's tough to do, right? Because the old way is going to be, well, Google drove all that traffic. Why is anyone Googling Content Marketing World tickets? That Google did not out of, thin air, like magically conjure a bunch of intent to search Google for Content Marketing World tickets. Someone had to learn about it somewhere else and then come to Google and then perform the search. And so your job is essentially to make smart investments, the best ones that you can, the ones you think will work, and then measure whether they did. Oh, gosh, lots of people watched that live stream. In the 6 weeks after that, we saw a lift of 12% in ticket sales over what year over year would have been last year or what we were anticipating. You know what? I think that live stream investment worked. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah, and that's hard to convince C-suite folks to do that. Michelle says attribution is fully broken these days, yet we are still using it as...
You don't have to listen to a neophyte like me. You can listen to an experienced, thoughtful leader like Michelle Garrett, who, by the way, is a genius, and I love following her. And she's absolutely right. So I think once everyone wraps their head around this new world that we're living in, that we've been living in for a few years now, then I think the measurement conversations are going to get more sophisticated and thoughtful. And we're going to look at this sort of, we will do measurement the way Coca-Cola did measurement in 1980, right? And that is less precision, but the beautiful thing, especially for content marketers, so much more creativity is allowed. Attribution destroys creativity. It destroys imagination. It destroys the things that are human and awesome. When I go look at all my favorite marketing campaigns and the things that have really convinced me to buy, they are not attributable. They're just not. You know what I saw? Did you guys catch this Visit Oslo campaign that's been sort of going viral on the internet the last couple of days? So the tourism board of Oslo, Norway. Oslo is a very tiny town. You can walk across it in 30 minutes. It is very uncrowded. It's it's kind of a weird place to visit because it doesn't feel like a tourist destination. It sort of feels like you're the only person visiting. And they leaned into this. They basically have a character who, sort of exclaims how this town is too small. How could it possibly be interesting? You can walk into the museums and see, Edvard Munch's The Scream, and there's no one in line. Like, is this even a real city? They do a great job with this advertisement, and it sort of leans into the flaws, and as a result, has tens of millions of views. You can see lots of people going, Oslo. I've never even thought about visiting Oslo, but this is exactly the kind of city I want to visit. I don't know what's going to happen. My guess is over the next 2 years, they will see increased demand for flights and hotels, and like the tourism board will go, okay, we've got some opportunity here, and this campaign appears to have been effective in terms of like building up the brand. We see more people searching for Oslo related tourism destinations and all that kind of stuff. Great. We can't attribute any of it to knowing that those people watched it, but we can absolutely measure the difference between where things were baseline and where things are today. I think that's how almost all marketing investments are going to have to go in the future.
And this sort of plays into, sorry, JK, this sort of plays into, we're talking about content marketing, PR, social media, your you and Amanda's whole zero-click mentality, which you've done a great job of promoting that for people understanding what that is. So maybe just really briefly what that is, if you don't know what it is, because they've been talking about it for a while, but this all is basically what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I think Amanda actually heard me sort of talking about this stuff and this problem, this challenge, and she goes, "Oh, well, the solution to that is zero-click marketing." Say more. And she's like, "Well, what you have to do is you have to essentially create for all the platforms, right? So content of all kinds, whether that's advertising content or editorial content, social media content, video content, community content, in such a way that people can consume it directly in their feeds, streams, platforms without having to follow a link." And the two reasons this is so important are, one, human behavior has trended away from, I see a thing that's interesting to me and I click on it. That was like the first 15 to 20 years of the internet, but it is not the last 10. We've really become trained as internet users not to click, to stay in the platforms. Google is answering more and more searches without requiring you to click. You can just get it from the instant answers in the answer box. Facebook wants to keep you on Facebook. LinkedIn wants to keep you on LinkedIn. Reddit wants to keep you on Reddit. YouTube wants to keep you on YouTube. All these kinds of, they all have an incentive to do that. And that's the second piece is the algorithms. The algorithms are strongly biased against links in sort of algorithmic feeds. And even in Google, right, it's better if you want to rank, it's better to provide the answer than it is to force the click or sort of tease someone to get that click. And so this is Amanda Natividad, my colleague, our VP of marketing at SparkToro, who coined this term. This zero-click content investment has to be a part of a thoughtful marketing strategy where you are creating things that don't require that click.
So when you were talking about, circling back to the beginning question, you mentioned, with the Google search leak, like you said, one of the things you were talking a little bit about zero-click marketing, and that maybe you might change your mindset a little bit with only putting a part of the post in the email, and then is that one of the things you're thinking about after the leak of changing?
Yeah, I mean, there's this constant tension between. This has always been true, right? Between what you do for human beings and what you do for Google, right? Or any platform. I'm sure you're all on LinkedIn, and you see a lot of the, link in the comments. And the link in the comments is kind of annoying, right? If it wasn't for the fact that LinkedIn would push down the visibility of your post, you'd include the link right in the post. You might even put it at the top. Instead, we play this kind of silly game, same with Twitter, same with Threads, same with a bunch of these platforms. You play the silly game where you wait for someone to ask for the link in the comments and then you reply to them and then that gets voted up. And so you play that game because you are trying to play to the algorithm visibility systems as well as your need or desire to get traffic directly to the piece. And so this is true in how we do content for email as well. Amanda, you're bringing up the one of the things that people noticed in the Google leak is that Chrome traffic appears to be used in all sorts of places as a way for Google to measure the importance and value. For as an example, like Chrome traffic to determine whether to treat a link from a page as important, medium important, or don't count it at all. And so if you, for example, did old school style SEO, spammy link building on a bunch of pages that get no traffic, Google's not going to count them at all. It's useless, pointless. Why bother, right? I will admit that in 2005, I was plenty guilty of getting lots of links from pages that got no traffic. And it worked like a charm. My stuff would pop right to the top of Google because I had all the right anchor text. I did all the right, sort of gaming things. That's not going to work anymore. So they're using Chrome traffic. And Amanda and I thought to ourselves, geez, we're trying to make our email newsletter, the SparkToro email newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. which is very popular, has like 50,000 subscribers, gets very high open rates. Like it does really well, but it is really zero-click designed, right? We try and we do link to stuff, but we'll take the value, the core nugget from that piece that we're linking to and include it right in the newsletter so that you don't have to click out of your email to get value from consuming it. Zero-click email, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we realized with the Google leak, we were like, geez, it'd be nice to drive a few thousand visits to this page that Google would probably treat that page as more important. And then we might get more rankings. So that's the tension that exists in a lot of these systems. The same tension that exists on, should I put the link in the comments or right in the post? Should I put the, value in the email, or should I try and nudge people to click? It's tough.
Yeah. So sorry, I stepped all over JK's questions, but we're already at 2:30. So we did this Google search. So I just want to wrap up with getting your thoughts on AI. How do you see this impacting marketing? We know, the Google SGE AI overviews, like, oh yeah, that's great for the user, but bad for us if we're trying to get the links. So, is there anything we can do to future-proof against it? Like, what are your thoughts on all of this?
The good news in the short term for people who are worried about the AI overviews is my understanding is Google rolled back about 80-90% of those from where they started in mid-May. So May is the only month where you can look and say, gosh, did we see a significant decrease in our Google traffic as a result of this AI overview? You can, if you want, you can go look at when they rolled it out globally and then when they rolled it back. There's 2 dates in May where you can look at those. And you could look at your traffic before and after and say, oh, okay, it affected us this much. In the future, if they decide to go whole hog with it again, that's probably what we can expect to lose. Was that loss traffic or was it value? Because they're 2 different things, right? One of the things that a lot of people observed when Google rolled out that AI overview was they were like, gosh, my traffic went down. Will Reynolds gave a great talk at MozCon, which I attended for the first time in many years a couple weeks ago. And he opened the talk with, I started running our marketing at Sear, his agency, and our traffic went down 40%. And he goes through lists like, here's all these things, like complete failure, right? Absolute failure. Thank God I'm the owner because I would have fired me. And then as he's telling the story, he goes, but let's look at new client leads and revenue. Up 18%. Why do I care about traffic? Because I've been trained to care about traffic because people told me it was important because I thought it mattered. It mattered to my ego. It didn't matter to my bottom line. I'd take another 40% hit for another 18% growth in leads. So that's what I would urge you to focus on is the traffic that Google is sending you. Is that super valuable traffic? For almost every company, the most valuable traffic Google sends you is branded search, your brand name. Getting that to grow over time. So more people, they stop searching for running shoes and they start searching for Adidas. That's what you want, right? They stop looking for concerts in my city and they start searching for Rolling Stones Cleveland. Like your brand, you want them to come for you, not the generic. And I would argue that demand is created in other places. My whole pitch, like the whole purpose of SparkToro is essentially go find the places where your audience engages, the sources of influence they listen to, read, follow, visit, watch, and be present in those places with a message that resonates rather than trying to worry about how do I get clicks for, random keywords in Google.
Awesome. Rand, thank you so much for taking the time. So Rand has a lot of knowledge in general about this, but also just watching you and Amanda do your marketing for SparkToro is also sort of a lesson in marketing, zero click, et cetera. So Rand, how can people find you, connect with you?
Oh, sure.
Let us know.
Yeah. So SparkToro is free. You can just go and sign up and run searches and see if you like it. There's no free trial. You don't have to put in credit cards, just forever free. And then if you want to check out the email newsletter, you can find that in the resources section, our blogs there too. If you have any questions for me directly, my email direct is rand@sparktoro.com, which Google now has a one box. If you search for Rand Fishkin email, like it comes up, it just shows like rand@sparktoro.com, which I find somewhat delightful. And I'm most active on Threads, where I just started following you, Amanda. And JK, when you get on Threads, find me there too.
I'll eventually get over there.
It's getting pretty hot. I'm very impressed. I like it.
I'm still mortified by what happened with Twitter, and I'm afraid to dip my toe into yet another platform. I think I'll get there. I promise.
I feel
right now. All right, Rand, thank you so much for all your knowledge. We're dropping links in the comments to different things. If you have questions that we didn't get to for Rand, we'll make sure he sees them, or we'll get to him so he can answer them. Other than that, have a good day, Rand, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right, that was great. Sorry, JK, I totally rolled over.
No, I'm like, you were talking to him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he just answered like 3 of the questions that I was going to ask. So I'm just going to let this go. That was fantastic.
Oh yeah, he did great. So this next interview we have today, we also are so excited to share with all of you. Thanks to our friend Misha Bokikio. I saw this on LinkedIn, and I was like, I was really intrigued by this campaign by the Visit Myrtle Beach, the Visitors Bureau there. It's called Traveling the Spectrum. And what we found out, which I didn't know, is that Myrtle Beach is a pioneer in autism-friendly travel. So for this series, they follow 3 amazing families on an inspiring vacation to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So first, before we get to the interview, I want to play, this is just a short clip. It's not the full trailer, but I want you to get an idea. I'm going to play a short clip from the trailer here.
We went on a vacation. It was traumatic.
With Max, you have to understand the triggers.
You're traveling with somebody with autism. There's so many more things that you have to consider.
So Braden was 8 years old when we were able to last take that trip. We're really looking forward to it. We need it.
Why does Max like to go on vacation?
By airplane.
You're fine. You're fine.
Oh,
Fly always to the sky.
With autism, it's hard enough to go grocery shopping, much less to a movie or to a restaurant.
Holy crap! I claimed the master bedroom.
Is all I wanna do with you. Take my hand, we're gonna.
Don't flip it.
No, we're not gonna flip. We're not gonna fall over.
That was good.
I love this so much. I love it so much.
Yes. And we recently caught up with the CMO of Visit Myrtle Beach, Stuart Butler. He actually went to school to be a rocket scientist, but he ended up being, I think, a rock star marketer. So we had a great conversation about recently with Stuart about this project. So take a listen. Thank you so much for joining us today. The travel and tourism industry, there's a lot of competition. It can be hard to stand out and differentiate yourself, especially with all the other beach locations and destinations along the East Coast there. But you have certainly hit it out of the ballpark with this one. Tell us a little bit about how this project came about.
We were sitting around watching some of what was popular on TV and came across the show Love on the Spectrum. And, you know, one thing that a lot of people don't know about the Myrtle Beach area is we have done a ton of work over the last decade to become very autism friendly. We have an amazing organization here called Champion Autism Network that has paved the way by training thousands of frontline workers on how to identify challenges with people with neurodiversity, how to accommodate them. We've laid the groundwork to be a really inclusive, welcoming place for autism families and people with neurodiversity. So we saw the show Love on the Spectrum, and we said, what would that look like in terms of travel? And so we came up with this concept called Traveling the Spectrum. And so one of the things we decided early on was we don't want this show to be about Myrtle Beach, right? We want it to be about the challenges of traveling with autism. So if you go to travelingthespectrumshow.com, the only reference to Myrtle Beach in that whole experience is at the very bottom has the Visit Myrtle Beach logo. And it didn't originally, the only reason we're doing that is because we are funded in part by taxpayers' dollars. And so for compliance reasons, we had to do that. But we don't want to be saying to people, come to Myrtle Beach because we're sensory friendly. We want to be spreading the message that 87% of families who have a kid on the spectrum don't travel. And we think that's an injustice that needs to be solved. And this show is a part of the solution, because we're going to provide people with the resources and the encouragement to take the risk of traveling. And here are some ways you can reduce the friction in traveling. And we believe that if more people see that and choose to travel, then we're going to get more than our fair share. So it's going to reward us down the line. We also feel like if we're not standing at the front of that message, thumping our chest saying, look at what Myrtle Beach did, it's going to spread further, right? We're going to have more impact on the world if it doesn't look to be a promotion from a destination. So it's a very deliberate strategy. But what I will say is people are seeing that it is us. They're finding out organically that it is us, and they're seeing, when they see episodes or when they see the trailer, they're seeing elements of Myrtle Beach. And so we are getting that positive sentiment come back to us.
So beyond this series, how are you marketing offers to like the families to come down?
Yeah, so I mean, I think of us as storytellers. Our job as the destination marketing organization for Myrtle Beach is, our job is to tell the story. And so in general, I believe that the marketers are storytellers. I believe that our job is to shine a light on the positive story that exists, whether it's a business, a service, whatever we're trying to promote, right? And so with autism specifically, we wanted to make sure we had the product first, which is why we focused on the training first. Then we wanted to get commitment from businesses, so we went out and did what we call the Beaches for Everybody sensory friendly pledge, and we asked businesses to commit to being sensory friendly and publicly. And so we had, I think, about 60 or so businesses signed up for that. And then we started, once we had those businesses, we started developing resources within our website so people can discover it and find this stuff. And now we're sort of under the next phase of that, which is how do we create noise awareness through paid, earned, and owned media, which is why we're creating the TV show. We're also creating a children's book, which follows a series of children as they try to navigate the challenges of a vacation through other mediums like podcasting. We're beginning to tell that story in a more sort of holistic way versus just a promotional way. We don't think promotion of this is the right way to tell that story. It's about telling real, authentic stories about people's experiences. And one of the interesting things about the autism community is it's so tight knit. There's a few organizational hubs, but everyone talks to everyone and everyone shares resources. And so when you can sort of tap into an audience that is communal, it sort of accelerates the adoption. And so we've seen that the word of mouth, which is always going to be the most powerful form of marketing, in whether it's in digital form or other, word of mouth is the most influence that you can have on anyone related to their behavioral decisions. And so we've seen a big uptick in people traveling here, with neurodiversity, not just autism, but ADHD and Down syndrome and other neurodiversity.
Video investment is a lot, like a 6-part series. That's not cheap to produce. So, and it's a very niche audience. Like, was it hard to get, buy-in for this type of a passion project?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long, deliberate process to get buy-in. I took over as the CMO for Visit Myrtle Beach about 3 years ago, and I came in with the mindset, having learned a lot about what works and what doesn't from the B2B marketing space, with the philosophy that paid media was going to continue to decrease in its effectiveness over time. We'd seen that consumers were increasingly rejecting advertising. They increasingly were using things like pop-up blockers. We knew that the big guys, the Googles and the Facebooks of the world were increasingly becoming larger gatekeepers of their audience, and it was getting more expensive. And so we knew that we as an industry, as destinations, were spending the vast majority of our budget on paid media, and over time it was becoming less effective. And so we sort of had the philosophy that we need to lean more into building our own audience through owned media. And we specifically wanted to do that through branded entertainment, where we're trying to help, not sell. We're trying to be entertaining first. We want this content to be viewed in the same sort of echelon as other content that people are creating. So whether it's a podcast, which we have a few of those, or a TV show, we want it to be indistinguishable from regular entertainment, so that people are watching this, they're consuming the hidden message, but they're still having that emotional connection with it, so that we can influence their thoughts and their behaviors later on. We're not telling them what to think, we're letting them choose to think the way we're encouraging them to think. What you're seeing with this show is sort of that culmination of a 3-year strategy to move people from a conventional thinking to a more progressive thinking when it comes to a marketing approach.
TravelingTheSpectrumShow.com.
Yeah.
When you have like join the movement and you ask people to sort of send your comments about what this means to you, what sort of reactions or comments have you heard from families about this?
Yeah, that's been one of the most heartwarming pieces of this project. So the trailer itself has reached over 750,000 people in 3 or 4 weeks. We've gotten thousands of emails coming in to support the movement. It's really getting some momentum now. It's going to change the world. It's going to change the way people see autism. It's not going to be the one-dimensional thought where a lot of people right now think autism is this disability where people are a little bit quirky or a little socially awkward. And it's going to show that there are degrees of the spectrum. That's why it's called a spectrum. It's going to show that people can be a part of the solution by showing a little more empathy and a little more understanding to people that are different than themselves. And I think it's something that community in Myrtle Beach is going to be really proud of, because it shows that we're very welcoming and hospitable. But I think more than anything, the biggest takeaway from me was that we're all more similar than we are different. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or you come from a different culture. The things that you care about, the passions you have for your family, your fears for the future of your children, they're universal. It doesn't matter who you are. So I really hope people see this and see themselves in it and say, leave this show thinking a lot of things, but one of them is, hey, I need to not judge people so much. And we are more similar than we are different. So I think it's the project I'm most proud of in my career, because I think it's not only going to be a very effective marketing campaign, but it's going to change the way people see the world.
Speaking of that, like how can people spread the word?
Yeah, so our core website is visitmyrtlebeach.com if you want to learn more about our destination. There's the show itself is at travelingthespectrumshow.com, and I would encourage everyone listening and watching this to go to that site, travelingthespectrumshow.com, watch the trailer that's on that page. If you feel so inclined to move, sign up to support the movement. And then most importantly, share it with your friends. Share links to the trailer on all your social channels. The more people that see this, the more the message spreads, the more people we're going to help. And so that would be amazing. The only advice I would give you is get your Kleenex next to you when you watch the trailer, because there's a good chance you might cry a little bit. It's pretty moving.
How great was that, right? that one hit me in the feels. It was such a wonderful conversation we had with Stuart. Especially, having family and friends that are on the spectrum, and having my wife, happy birthday, Kristen, by the way, dedicate her career to teaching children on the spectrum, to see the inclusivity of a whole city, and having their travel and tourism board take over that and say, hey, you are welcome here, just means so much. We are going to put like I said, we put the links up throughout that video, but there will be links for Traveling the Spectrum. So if you want to show some support and spread the love, that would be fantastic.
Yes, I would love to I think they're at 890,000. I'd love, let's push them to 1 million. Let's get the, it's a really great And we talked to Stuart for almost an hour, right? So we have like even extended interview. We'll drop a link to that too on our YouTube channel. He also talks about this great campaign they're doing they did on Reddit, and hopefully we'll repeat it. That is just fascinating for marketers. Like if you're interested in getting into Reddit. So
and one last thing, the ultimate goal of this project was to find distribution, and we happen to know that there might be some good news, but we will let Stuart drop that when the time is right. So good on that.
Hopefully we can tell you about that soon, and we will follow up with that. So boy, we've only been on here almost an hour, JK. So let's wrap it up here. But we have some things going on around CMI. Can you tell us a little bit about them, JK?
We do. Well, first, we hope to see you at Content Marketing World in San Diego this October. Early bird rates are in effect, so hurry and get your tickets. You saw we announced ESA, the agenda is live. Go check it out. We're super excited. The agenda is live. Plus, you can use the promo code LIVE100 to save an extra $100 on your pass. That's LIVE 100. Then also, we have a big sale going on right now at the Content Marketing Certification Program from CMI and the American Marketing Association. Very special. We've extended our 20% off summer discount. You have until this Friday. I believe that's the 28th. So head over to contentmarketinguniversity.com and sign up for 20% off.
Yeah, sorry, I had that graphic was not right. I didn't notice that. But yeah, contentmarketinguniversity.com to get 20% off. And also, you can always check out our digital events and webinars. We always have interesting stuff going on this month and next month. So, okay, JK, that was a packed show. So I guess we will see everyone next month. We'll be talking about a new topic, should be influencer marketing and social media. So we will be excited to join all of you for that. So look for information on that. Until the meantime, have a good summer, right, JK?
Yeah. See you later. Stay cool, kids.
All right. Everyone, have a